Paid ads are a way to put money on your social media, on your creatives, on your Google Display Network, and a bunch of other platforms to reach your audience in larger numbers depending upon your budget. Organically, you can reach people to an extent through hashtags, through shares, and through your following. But paid ads help you target those people at exact geographies, at exact time, and every single relevant target group can be targeted, retargeted, and adjusted to reach them and put out your communication at large. Paid ads have a bunch of ways in which they can be executed. There are no shortcomings over here because it's your money and you are setting who you want to reach, what is the goal you want to create, what is the kind of objective that you want to fulfill. And the first and the foremost way to do is using social media. As you can see on my screen, when it comes to social media, the paid ads are essentially used for reaching a lot more new audiences in different geographies, in different demographics, then engage with them, and also, in a way, create a recall factor. Let's assume you are browsing through Instagram, and after every tap these days, you see a sponsored ad. How about you see an ad by one particular brand on a day to day basis? Even though it has been coming around with the same particular message, it will create a recall factor. That's what social media does. That's what social media paid ads do in terms of getting a user familiar with that particular thing. And similarly, on that note, it helps you engage with them. And if you have a CTA, that is a call to action, which means a user can act upon it, click on a link, and you go through a third party website, go to a landing page, and do a bunch of things or help you achieve a bunch of objectives. Now, what's the foremost way of doing it? It is the Facebook Business Manager. As a beginner, there are a bunch of tools that you do not need to worry about. That is the HubSpot and other tools that you see in the research library. But Facebook Business Manager is like that ventilator that will help you keep your paid ad games on social media alive if you know this tool enough. So why waste time? Let's quickly see what all does this tool do. Once you go to Facebook Business Manager, this is how your dashboard would look like. It will have your brand's name. You can set up multiple accounts. Like as you can see, it has the ad manager, it has the audiences, it has the ads reporting, ad account setup, and events manager. You can also add multiple accounts over here. Like you can see, there are a bunch of accounts over here, and similarly, you can add a lot more, and each of them can be interacted. But before actually setting up an ad account, you need to know what exactly is essential when you're setting this up. When it comes to insights, you need to know what and how is your content performing. Right now we don't have content live, so we don't see it over here, but ideally there are content pieces, your creatives, your videos, your visuals would be here, which will help you realize the content that is performing better and the content that is not performing better. We have our audience insights over here that will give you in terms of what are the age, where do they belong from, what are the geographies, what is the gender, and every single thing that will help you come up with a strategy and target them at that level. On the different side, we also have results that tell you how your ads have performed over the time. Then there is each content piece that you want to push will be reflected over here if you have a content. And then last but not the least, a multiple audience inside in terms of cities, audiences, and everything would be at this particular place. Now if I go back to my home page, as you saw that there will be a bunch of other things like ads manager, ad account setting, audiences, audience quality, events manager. Let's see how ad manager functions. You can access every single detail about the page over here. You can have your events manager. You can set up a bunch of other things in terms of knowing your audience. You can even target the kind of timings you're looking at for posting, how your ads performing, and all the other details. You can find the entire data source over here where you can see how your events have performed, how your history looks like, and then you can also change the multiple settings over here. So that clearly says, even as a beginner, even as a new learner, you do not need to know a bunch of high-tech advanced tools to get started in digital marketing. All you need to do is know the exact platform, right? And the one that you're seeing on my screen will help you implement every single thing right at the moment. How about we try and create a quick ad right now and see how it just works. So first we go to the ads manager. We see a bunch of ads that are already live. You see the plus sign over here. It means I can create a new campaign, I can introduce new budgets, I can create something like that. And I can also update this in real time. Once this is set up, I just click over here, which is already green, you can see, we just create. And it also had a loading creation. Page will pop up. You can already select a pre-existing post that is live, or you can post a new particular thing. But before that happens, the screen is going to ask you, what is the objective? Like I mentioned, the objectives for social media are often awareness, engagement, consideration, and conversion. So it's brand awareness or reach, consideration in terms of, do you want traffic on your website? Do you want engagement? Do you want app installs? Do you want video views? Do you want retargets? And conversions are essentially conversions, leads, and a lead generation campaign works better over here. Let's just select I want brand awareness, since that has been the topic of our discussion since the start. And I continue. It will take me to a next page that will ask me a couple of questions in terms of how do I want to proceed further with, if my ad is supposed to be a special category. I can put up a campaign name over here. Let's say I'm putting the campaign name as test for the course, since we are testing this, and see how that one works. There are special categories. It's either credit, employment, housing. There are no special categories over here, so we just leave this section empty. Followed by that, campaign details are always over here, auction, brand awareness, and the multiple options you can test. Then there is A/B testing, campaign budget optimization. You just, if you turn the budget on, you can actually set a daily budget. You can also set a lifetime budget. If you set it off, it will be optimized in itself eventually, but ideally it's recommended to set an optimized budget. I can set this up, and once I go next, it will take me to the final page where I can write the name of the ad set. I can put up my creatives over here. I can set up the functions over here, every single details and demography. I can target the people I want to target. I can do a detailed demography, so where I want to target people. For example, let's say I want to target people in Mumbai. I'll have the browsing list over here where I can use them in terms of education, financial events. It all works over here. And once everything is set up, I go next, and that is when I'll be able to finally publish my ad. And you'll also see an ad preview right over here. Right now we haven't posted anything, so we're not doing that, but ideally here's where your preview would be. And once you click on publish, your brand new ad is live, and all to do next is just keep observing and monitoring the ad at the ad manager section, and eventually you'll optimize it, you'll reform it, and you'll up your game. And like I said, the same thing can be done for WhatsApp as well, and the same thing can be done for Instagram as well. There are multiple ads, and every single detail that's happening will be mentioned over here. There are campaign trends over here. You can connect a CRM. CRM is essentially customer relationship management, which means you can talk to your customers in real time. You can talk to your audience in real time. You can address their concerns and grievances. Well, that's it on the Facebook Business Insight Manager, and it is a very important tool when it comes to you being independent in your nature when it comes to working, and you do not have a lot of tools at your disposal. So this is one way of doing paid ads when it comes to social media and your long-term objectives, your short-term campaigns in terms of awareness and engagement. Now, keeping the Facebook Ad Manager aside, what is something that is essential to get real-time leads, which is essential to get high-age branding and reach out to people in not just a limited time frame and a limited geography, but it has to be out of bounds. That is nothing but the Google Ads, which is also known as the Google Display Network, which is used for leads, driving traffic, and sales. Now, Google being the world's largest network, a largest search engine, and the most percentage of shares The GDN becomes one of the prime destinations of running ads. This is the reason we called it the Google Display Network. And how do you do it? You use the Google Ads Manager to do it. What happens ideally is you create banners, you create posts, you create shorter GIFs and videos, and those things are used and utilized to reach out to people at multiple geographies, not just a specific demography or a specific geography, but all over the world. Let's assume you are creating a product right here sitting in India, which is for Europe, and they are halfway across the world. You can still reach them using the Google Ads. Let's take the example that we have taken for Facebook Manager as well, the red boots. What if I want to create a campaign for red boots? What is the objective? Here are certain parameters that I can already see. But before we get into that, you can already see that I have all the campaigns that are always live over here. I can also see the ad groups that are live over here. And here are some that I would really like to share with you guys, the clicks. Clicks are essentially nothing but kind of the number of people who click on your ad and come to your website. Clicks also are very important to measure the ROI of your spends, because most of the times the right and the optimum way to measure the success of a Google ad is to see the number of clicks that he has achieved. But that is variable in terms of the objective that we want to achieve. Impressions is the number of times people have viewed and seen your ad. CPC is cost per click. Now, what do we mean by cost per click? When you run a Google ad, you don't pay money up front. You don't pay money, or you don't put a budget up front. You might have a set budget in mind, but you only pay for the amount of the particular objective. Like, let's say you have assumed, let's say you have chosen cost per click. What does this mean? Which means your ad would be live and reach your target audience at multiple geographies and demographies, but you'll only have to pay for that ad once a person has clicked on that ad. Similarly, cost per click, there is one more aspect that is called cost per mean, that is CPM, which means you don't pay for the clicks, you pay for every 1,000 people seeing your ad, which means your ad went live, 1,000 people have seen it, and you pay a particular amount. The next CPM comes when more 1,000 people have seen it. Similarly, one needs to decide what works best for what brand. If your objective is impression, if your objective is just awareness, then CPM is one of the best ways. But if your objective is to increase downloads, is to get people to a different website, then CPC is one of the best ways. As you can see, you can have your cost over here, you can have the average CPC over here, you'll have a real-time demonstration of the clicks and every single detail, and this dashboard will give you weekly, monthly, quarterly data, and you can download those data in an Excel sheet or in a picture. In terms of campaigns, you can see all your campaigns that are live, all the campaigns that have gone, what is the cost, the impression, what are the results, and then this is how ideally an ad manager would look like. You can edit the ad, you can copy the ad, you can write a headline, you can add the website, you can add the description as well, and you can measure them through purchase, add to cart. This will be your metrics in which in terms of you're setting up a target, and then you can add a tracking code to see if number of people who have come to your website have worked out or not. If you just click on tools and settings on the Google ad, you'll see you can do your billing and payments over here. You can access your security, there are preferences. You can also click on audience manager to actually see what are the kind of audiences you want to target. You can do a research on them, and you can also see how it works. Like if you want to set up an audience source, you can just click on audience source, implement the data, and you can also use a bunch of tools that are available here like Google Tags, Google Analytics, and a lot of these things will help you set up an audience source. Similarly, once the audience source is worked out, the custom segments are understood. Here we have much other things like keyword planner. Like if you remember from SEO, it's one of the ways in which you up your SEO game to research on the keywords. And who better than Google to tell us if my keyword has the volume search or not? Well, that is in general what Google Ad Manager does. Well, more on the detail of running a demonstrating ad will happen once we understand what do we mean by what are the two other important aspects after Facebook and Google ads. Well, those are nothing but the YouTube ads and the Google UAC campaign. So we all know that YouTube is owned by Google. What does that mean for the ad network on YouTube? Well, it's very simple. You don't need a separate ad account. Yeah, you heard me. You do not need a separate ad account to run YouTube ads. You can use the same Google Ad Manager that you have seen to run the YouTube ads. YouTube ads happen essentially in three ways. There are pre-rolls, there are mid-rolls, and there are end rolls. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's start with the pre-rolls. Whenever you click on a video, if you don't have the YouTube Premium, you see the first ad, and that's what called a pre-roll ad before the video plays. Sometimes when you're in the midway through a video, you see an annoying bit of an ad that just comes while you're in the middle of an interesting scene. That's called a mid-roll, that you can sometimes skip and sometimes you can't skip. Well, more on that just after this. And there are the end roll ads, which happens once the video is ending. Now on that as well, you have seen there are videos that you can skip and then there are ads that you can't skip. What do we call them? The skip ads are known as the skippable ads, and the ads that you can't skip are known as the inskippable ads. And essentially you pay a little more for the inskippable ads and you pay a little less for the skippable ads. One thing that's also important that needs to be done, and you can use it when you actually do real-time demonstration of these work in real time, is the optimum and the apt duration for any YouTube ad should not be more than 15 to 20 seconds, because people have a tendency to lose interest because they have come there to view something else. They have come there to view something they want to, and we are just the obstruct in between them. So that clearly says that optimizing the YouTube ads is one of the most important things. YouTube ads is one of the finest ways to actually increase awareness for your brand back to back. I'm sure a lot of people have come across a bunch of annoying country delight ads recently, or the Zomato ads back in 2018 and 19. Well, that's a full-fledged and a successful awareness campaign, because a person who hasn't known country delight also knows it now. Even though they don't use it, they know it because of that ad campaign being highly successful. And while these three pillars make our lives easy, there is one small aspect of paid ads that is quite advanced and really growing in the industry, that is called the UAC and the affiliates. Been around for a long time, bigger brands have the budgets to use it. I'll not deep dive into UAC, but for a basic understanding, UAC is known as the Universal App Campaign, as you can see on my screen, and that a Universal App Campaign helps you automate your ads, which means you put up one video or one post and the network will show it on YouTube, on AdMobs, on the display network, on Google Play and AdWords. Which means, let's say you install an app and you don't have a paid version of it, and the app supports ads, which means your ad can be shown in that if you're a relevant audience on third-party websites, on third-party platforms. It's basically an automated network. How do we do that? We do not do it using the Google Ads Manager. We just set it up using the Google Ads Manager. UAC essentially happens when you are into more of technical stuff and you have the budget to sustain a large scale campaign. A UAC ad would ideally look like this, as you can see on my screen. Like if you search advertising, you'll have an advertising game and it will ask you to install. Similarly, inside of another app, you will have an Advantage Ducker video, or while you're reading an article, you will have that ad. So it's essentially not you setting up the ad or targeting it. You just set the parameters and the ad can be shown to anyone, anywhere, at any platform, at any place. While we have understood the concepts of Facebook Business Manager, Google Ad Manager, YouTube, and also the UAC and affiliate network, let's have a quick and a real-time demonstration of a brand and see how it really works while you're setting up this account.